Welcome back. This week we're talking about community service, raising the collective consciousness. Giving back to the world is always a selfless act, isn't it? Nope. Hey there, welcome back. This week we're talking about community service, raising the collective consciousness. Giving back to the world is always a selfless act, isn't it? Not really. In fact, oftentimes, though our hearts are in the right place, we have some underlying ego driving us to give back to the world. In other words, we're getting something from the act of giving. So we're actually in service of the ego and are probably unaware of that. So that's what we're going to talk about today and how to utilize this opportunity to raise the collective. So not only are we giving back on one level, on the level of sort of form, but also we're raising the collective overall, that quantum realm, right, on the level of the quantum. So I want to talk a little bit about this, right, about it not being a selfless act. Let me give you an example. One might donate clothing items to a local shelter, and when we do, our false belief is we're better people than other people who throw away their things in the trash instead of donating them. Or sometimes folks volunteer and they do it for rewards or accolades or just to feel better about themselves. Or I know some people do it just to escape their lives. This kind of giving is in service of the ego. And by the way, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that this kind of giving is bad or wrong. This kind of giving still has the impact of helping others. We are just isolating that this doesn't necessarily raise your consciousness, and it can sometimes strengthen your ego. But what happens when you do give from conscious awareness? As we've discussed, there's an invisible field of awareness, of consciousness, of which we are all a part of. It's called the field. When you choose to give back to the world from a place of consciousness, this actually dials you into the collective field of awareness. It elevates your awakening, and it creates abundance for others. And the byproduct of that abundance is abundance for yourself. The benefits of the field, creating from the field, the collective consciousness, through community service, something happens. Something shifts inside of you when you do this. Something shifts within, and something shifts without, out there, out in the universe. Like I said, you kind of dial into the quantum, into the collective consciousness. So what stops us from dialing into the field? It's really our ego, our fears, our ignorance, our anxiety, and all of our past conditioning. Doing community service to feel good about myself, to escape my own life, and to look good because it's the right thing to do, that all stems from the ego. So how can we transcend these blocks of the ego and give consciously? First, you get clear about who is giving, meaning who are you being when you're giving? For example, are you being the righteous one, or the martyr, or the saint when you're giving? Second, you can tell on yourself. Writing in your journal is a good way to do this, or talking to a partner, or talking to a coach about what it is that's going on with you. Third, you get connected to the part of yourself, your higher self, by closing your eyes, taking a deep breath, and asking, who am I? And what is it I am here to do on this planet? What is my work? Get quiet and listen to the answer. And now finally ask yourself, how am I compelled to give back to the world? How might I come closest to this work? Right? It could be something small. What's one thing I can do? And who am I being while doing it? I have a quick little story I want to share about this. I've had many charitable endeavors in my life. And there were times in the past when I was younger that I felt better than others while giving. I'm going to tell myself a little bit here. In my 30s, I talked to a friend, and I will never forget this conversation. I told myself, oh, I was feeling good to give, right? I was feeling good about myself, self with lowercase s. She listened, asked some questions, and she challenged me around my greatest childhood passion, animal welfare. When I shared with her my childhood dream to impact euthanasia of healthy, homeless pets, something in me clicked, and I awakened to what was possible. Living out what I dreamed in the best way that I could. The Homeless Pet Project to reduce euthanasia in the Metroplex was born. When I connected to and I gave from this conscious place, The impact was profound in a number of ways on the animal welfare system, on my daughters, my family, and the byproduct, of course, was that there was a profound impact on me. What I found was that something inside of me, like I said, shifted. I no longer felt triggered in an egoic way when I was working on a project that seemed really sad, pet euthanasia. I awakened further, and the system, the collective consciousness rose as well. You too can choose to raise the collective consciousness through community service or giving back. Here's an experiment to try. So it's a two-parter this week. Part number 1 has 3. So 3 options. You can choose one of these 3 options. So number 1 in part 1 is to write out 5 love notes on stickies and put out $5 bills with it and leave them in random places to someone without them knowing and without you sticking around to see who finds them. That's the trick. Number 2 is spend 10 minutes every day this week sending good energy to one person in your life who needs it. Could be someone who's sick, could be someone who's down. Number 3, go volunteer somewhere, but set the intention that it isn't for you, it's to raise the collective consciousness. You can do this by just being in joy. All right, so you pick one of those 3 options. And number 2, right, is to spend 5 minutes reflecting on what was different this week when you did this exercise. Where did you see more abundant in your own life? Where did you feel more peaceful? What came out of this experience? I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes. And I will see you back here next week. Bye-bye.